You probably noticed I almost stumbled on Biodynamic Demeter Alliance because, and we'll chat about this for a moment later on, it's the new name resulting from the recent merger of two different organizations that have been so instrumental in advancing the biodynamic farming, agriculture, gardening, and land stewardship movement. And I'm just so thrilled, Sheila, that we have this opportunity to chat about this because it's one of the things that's very near and dear to my heart.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a humdinger of a name. I think at some point in our branding process, we're going to have to figure out how to make it less of a tongue tire.
I can get used to it. Biodynamic Demeter Alliance. I just
just sort of rolls off your tongue.
Absolutely. Sheila Foster has worked across the spectrum of the environmental and food system movement for more than 2 decades. A successful nonprofit leader and scientist at heart, her work has focused on the belief that hope for the world lies in the intricate web that ties us all together and our ability to nurture and care for each other, the soil, and our fellow living beings. Through her experience nationally and internationally, she has seen that one of the greatest avenues for creating a thriving world is through the principles and values of biodynamic agriculture. A mother and a fan of walking any time she can, Sheila spends whatever free time she has enjoying her daughter, walking in the woods, and connecting with her local community. She lives in Southern Oregon on lands that have been stewarded since time immemorial by the Takelma, Latagua, and Shasta peoples. And Sheila, I last summer had the opportunity to travel right through your neck of the woods, as it were, with my sweetheart Caressa, and was there the year prior with my son Hunter. It's such a special, magical land where you're located. Maybe just to kick us off and just to give us a sense of the place where we're speaking with you today, tell us a bit about what it's like in your region right now.
Yeah, I love this region. You know, it's a very unique place in the world because it has 2 mountain ranges. It has the Cascades and it has the Siskiyous, and it's one of the only places in the world that has 2 mountain ranges that meet. So you have an east-west and north-south mountain range, which means that if you live in town, you're surrounded by mountains on 3 sides, which is really just spectacular. Beautiful pine trees and deciduous forests, and it's been a really special place. You know, there's hot springs and stuff here, and so this area actually, for thousands of years, was a place where people came for healing because of the hot springs, and you can still feel it today. There's something in the air, and I've loved living here. I've been here for close to 20 years now, and it's just one of those special places in the world. And today it is 80 degrees and the leaves are starting to change, and it's beautiful.
Oh, I can just picture it, and absolutely love that part of our world, our continent, Turtle Island. And thanks for painting that picture for us. So, biodynamics, and we've got such an important announcement to share in this podcast episode, which is a very special conference coming up in November, right here in Colorado, in Westminster, between Denver and Boulder, Colorado, where many from around North America are going to be gathering to celebrate and share and learn and teach about the biodynamics movement. And Sheila, in addition to the conference, this is also a very special time, right? Because we're coming up on the 100-year anniversary of the biodynamic movement. And maybe just to cue all that up for you, can you just walk us into, I know a lot of our audience is familiar with biodynamics, but not everybody. Can you just walk us through what is biodynamics? Why is it different from some of the other agricultural methods out there, and how did it come to be?
Yeah, that's a big question. So right now, you're right. We're having the National Biodynamic Conference. It's going to be in Westminster, very nicely situated between Denver and Boulder, and it's November 8th to the 12th. And we're bringing in people from all over the world. We're bringing in national speakers that we're very excited to have. Really, the goal of that conference is, it's been 4 years since we've had a national conference because of the pandemic and all the changes that happened in our world. And so we're really excited to have everybody come together, and especially excited that we're able here in the United States to launch the 100-year celebration of biodynamics. And that started in 1924, and it evolved because there were farmers in Europe that were very concerned about what was happening because World War II had happened. There were lots of weapons that were left over, chemicals from those weapons that were left over. And it was discovered that they could be used as fertilizers for the soils. And farmers were really concerned about what they saw happening. And so they went to an Austrian philosopher and scientist named Rudolf Steiner, and they said, help us. We don't know what to do here. We're concerned this is going to impact the nutrients and the nutritional quality of the food. We don't know what the environmental damage is going to be, but really, frankly, they were primarily concerned about what was happening to the quality of the food. And Steiner is a very wise human being, and he agreed that this was a problem that needed to be addressed, and eventually, through the years, got talked into holding a series of lectures, 8 lectures, and it's those 8 lectures that form the foundation of the principles of biodynamics. And from there, various people came to the United States. It started spreading around the world. In Europe, it is Demeter is the certification, and biodynamics and Demeter certification is the most trusted certification in Europe. There's thousands of farms that are Demeter certified. It really was the basis of the organic movement, and today any Demeter certified farm starts with a foundation of meeting the organic standards and then goes beyond that. The United States, for one reason or another, it didn't take off as fast and as quickly as it did throughout Europe, but it's starting to really take hold, particularly in the wine industry. And I think the main reason for that is that vineyards are very concerned about quality, of course. They're producing a product, and they are really interested in being able to find the individuality of the land on which the grapes are grown. And so biodynamic practices are all about that. It's really about, so one of the things that I often think about with biodynamics is, Rudolf Steiner also created Waldorf education. And one of the aspects of Waldorf education is that as a teacher, your job is really to find the individuality of the child that you're teaching and to bring that forth. So a lot of other education programs, it's, opening up the child's mind and pouring knowledge in. And through Waldorf education, the belief is a lot more around finding what's the gift that this child is bringing into the world, and how do you as the teacher enliven that and bring that forth. As a biodynamic farmer, it's a really similar philosophy. How, as a farmer, do you look at your land? And so one of the aspects of biodynamics is that they look at the farm as one whole organism. So how do you, as a farmer, how do you bring alive that individuality? What is the gift that this land can bring? And how do you work in the relationships between all the beings that are on your land to grow food and be a thriving community? And so that's really the foundation. So all the practices and principles are based around that idea of how do we create a thriving, enlivened ecosystem that can produce food that nourishes people and that really holds what is the essence of that plant, that fruit, whatever it is that the food is. And so sourcing your fertility close to the farm or on the farm, building compost piles, building soil, really working with the soil to build up those microbial relationships that happen between the plants and the microbes in the soil. There's preparations